Hi, it's Heather, pediatric SLP. Let's talk about speech and language milestones in toddlers ages 1 to 2 years. What is your child doing at this age? They're starting to identify a few different body parts. So if you say to them, point to your nose, they'll point to their nose. They're following one-step directions. So for instance, you might say, kiss the baby, and they'll do it. And they're also responding to simple questions. So if you say, where's your sippy cup? They'll turn their head and start looking for their sippy cup, or they'll go grab it, demonstrating understanding of that phrase. They're listening to stories and songs and rhymes, and they're starting to point to pictures in books when you name them. So when you're reading a story and you're looking at the colorful pictures and you say, point to the dog, where's the dog? They'll look for the dog and point to it in the book. What is your toddler doing expressively at this time? They are saying a lot of new words, especially at that 18-month mark. Their language is just bursting. The consonant sounds they're starting to say are p, b, m, h, and w. And there's my puppy. Hi. They're starting to name pictures in books. So when you're book reading, they might see something they recognize and tell you the name of it. And they're also starting to ask more questions. Like a common one is, what's that? What's that? As your child gets closer to the 2-year mark, they're starting to explore putting 2 words together, which is really exciting. They're expanding their vocabulary and realizing that, ooh, if I put 2 words together, it has a different meaning or a greater meaning or more impactful meaning. So for instance, they might say more, please, or more juice, or maybe pairing the word no. No bed, no night-night. And remember that your child's articulation, the way that they're saying the sounds, is not perfect at this time. And you may not be able to understand everything they're saying, but some words are starting to become a little more clear, which is exciting. If you're feeling worried that your toddler is not doing some of these things and you want some ideas for home, I have 4 simple things that you can do in your daily routines. Number 1, narrate your day. So use short phrases with correct grammar so that your child can more easily imitate you. For instance, if you're outside and you see a bird, you can say, look, a bird. It's blue. The bird says, tweet, tweet. I like birds. Number 2, have fun with different sounds. Now that your child is exploring so many different consonant and vowel sounds, you can incorporate practicing these sounds in your daily routines. So for instance, if you're outside and you see an airplane go by, you can practice the V sound. Look, an airplane. Ooh, 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 and make the sound of the airplane, or a car. You could practice your B sound and P sound during bath time with bubbles. You're looking at the bubbles and say, look, bubbles, b, b, b. Or let's pop the bubble, p, 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 right? Another thing you could do is if you hear a dog bark, you could say, I hear the dog barking, wah, 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 and work on that W, or if it's growling, the R sound, Number 3, read to your child every day. I've suggested this in previous videos for previous age ranges, but it's even more important now as your child's language is bursting. Kids this age love very simple, colorful images, and you can work on pointing skills, you can work on naming what you see, and you can also work on rhyming and songs through books. Number 4, honor your child's communication attempts. So even if your child is not seeming like they're communicating something with you, they most likely are. So what we have to do as their caregivers is just give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they're understanding what we're saying and that they're trying to communicate something to us. Not only do we want to honor their communication attempts, but we want to honor their feelings in their communication attempts. So a lot of times Toddlers at this age get very frustrated when we don't know what they're saying to them. So they may throw a tantrum or whine or grunt. So honoring your child's feelings, their communication attempt, and then providing them with a model of what they could have said or what they could have done to express themselves better, right? So here's an example. Your child is feeling frustrated, throwing a tantrum on the ground, whining, screaming, but also pointing to the top shelf with their preferred snack, right? So you can say to them, wow, you're feeling mad, right? That's acknowledging the feeling. Then you can just assume what they want and tell them that so that you're valuing their communication attempt. You can say, you want the crackers on the top shelf, right? So feeling, acknowledge what they tried to communicate to you. And then number 3, provide them with a better way to do it. You can say, so tell your child, you can say, I want crackers. They may not repeat you. They may be too frustrated to do so, most likely, but at least you're providing them with that appropriate model and they're absorbing that information. If you're wanting to see this information in writing, check it out on my blog, the milestones and the tips for home. And then also look ahead to the 2 to 3-year-old video if you're wanting to just see what your child should be doing in the next year to help their development.